What's up guys, Super Michael Gaming here, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be ranking all the Hot Wheels Beat That cars from worst to best. And we're going to see which ones are the best, which ones are the worst, and which ones are neutral. So without further ado, let's rank all 30 Hot Wheels Beat That cars from worst to best. And starting in F tier is the worst car in Hot Wheels Beat That, the Jackhammer. So putting it lightly, Jackhammer is the worst Hot Wheels Beat That car ever. And if you look at his stats, his speed is definitely horrible. It has a speed stat of 1, which is absolutely garbage. He does have pretty good acceleration, handling, and charge, I'll give him that, but that is not enough to save him. I'm just gonna say it. Jackhammer is the worst Hot Wheels Beat That car to ever use. And to prove it for it, here's a little clip of my video from Hot Wheels Beat That.
Lord, what is going on right now? What is happening to me? God, if I didn't have to use this stupid ass car, I would have been fine, but this game wants me to suffer more. I think I'm using this stupid ass car. Ugh.
So in conclusion, Jackhammer is the worst Hot Wheels Beat That car ever to use. If you're someone who hates low speed characters in a racing game, I recommend you stay away from Jackhammer at all costs, because he is very slow. And joining Jackhammer in this tier is the Bully-Go. So Bully-Go also ends up in the lower rank cars for a similar reason. One, he's a little bit better than Jackhammer. He's got a bit better speed, but doesn't have pretty good acceleration. He does have good handling and charge, but he doesn't have pretty good speed and acceleration. So overall, Bully-Go's a little bit of improvement of Jackhammer, but not that great. And we end F tier off with the Cool One. So Cool One is an improvement over Jackhammer and Bully-Go. As you can see, he has pretty good speed, handling, and charge, but he has horrible acceleration. That's why he makes him one of the top F tier cars to use. So yeah, in conclusion, Cool One's a pretty good F-tier vehicle to use. He has pretty good speed, handling, and charge, but his acceleration is kind of making him bad. But if you're someone who likes pretty decent cars, maybe give Cool One a try. And rising up in D tier is the Midriff vehicle. Midriff, on the other hand, is a bit better than the first 3 cars. As you can see, she's pretty balanced. She doesn't have the best speed and acceleration, but does have pretty good handling and charge, which makes her a bit better than the first 3 cars we talked about. So overall, she's a pretty good D-tier vehicle to use. She doesn't have the pretty good speed and acceleration, but pretty decent handling and charge. If you're someone who likes pretty decent cars, maybe give Midriff a try. And rising up in D tier is the Rockster. And Rockster is a little bit even better. He has pretty good speed, his acceleration handling is mid, and he also has pretty good charge. So overall, Rockster is a little bit of improvement over Midriff. He has pretty good speed, pretty average acceleration handling, and pretty good charge. So I recommend you give Rockster a try if you like starter cars. And we end D tier off of a strong note with the Brutalist. And looking at Brutalist, he's an improvement over Midriff and Rockster because he's pretty balanced. He has pretty balanced speed, handling, and charge, but doesn't have pretty good acceleration. But overall, Brutalist is a pretty good average car to use. If you're someone who likes pretty balanced cars, give Brutalist a try. He's a pretty good starter car to use for the beginning of the game. And moving up in C tier is the Formula 8er. Now, Formula 8er is considered to be the best of the C tier cars. Though low speed, his acceleration is pretty mid, and also his handling, but he does have fantastic charge. So overall, he's a pretty good C-tier vehicle to use. He doesn't have the best speed, but he's not as worse as Jackhammer or all the other cars I mentioned earlier. So I recommend you give Formula 8er a try. And joining him in C-tier is the Off-Track. And looking at Off-Track, he's a little bit better than his counterpart, Formula 8er. He shares the same speed and acceleration stats as the Formula 8er, but he does have pretty better handling and charge. So overall, Off-Track's a pretty better version of Formula 8er, so I recommend you give him a try. And the last one in C tier is Chicane. Now, Chicane, for some people, is considered to be the best starter car. He has pretty good speed, he shares the same acceleration and handling stat as the Rockster, but he doesn't have pretty good charge. So overall, he's slightly better than Rockster. He has slightly better speed, he shares the same acceleration and handling stats as the Rockster, but he doesn't have pretty decent charge. But he's also a pretty good car to use, so I recommend you give him a try when you try to pick your best starter car in Hot Wheels Beat That. And rising up in B tier, we have the Rabbit Transit. Now, Rabbit Transit is a pretty balanced car. His speed and acceleration are balanced. He has a pretty good handling stat, but doesn't have pretty good charge. So overall, Rabbit Transit is a pretty good balanced car to use, and probably one of the best starter cars you can use in the entire game. So I recommend you give Rabbit Transit a try. And joining him in B tier is the Hot Wheels Drift King 24/7. Now, the Hot Wheels Drift King 24/7 is the first unlockable car in the game, and as the first unlockable car, he's pretty good. He shares the same speed and acceleration stat as the Rapid Transit, but he does have a slightly less handling and slightly better charge. So overall, the Hot Wheels Drift King 24/7 is a pretty good balanced car, and probably one of the best of the unlockable cars, for a first one, that is. Next up in B tier is the Super Tsunami. In my opinion, Super Tsunami is pretty balanced. Why? Because his speed and acceleration is pretty balanced, and handling and charge almost seem to mean the same thing. So that's why he's pretty balanced. That's why he's considered a B tier vehicle, because he's pretty balanced. So overall, Super Tsunami is a pretty better balanced car compared to Rapid Transit or the Hot Wheels Drift King 24/7. So I recommend give Super Tsunami a try if you like balanced cars. And the last one in B tier is the Muscle Tone. Muscle Tone also ends up being one of the more balanced cars for a similar reason. He almost shares the same stats as Super Tsunami, but he does have less speed and a little bit more acceleration, handling, and charge. So yeah, Muscle Tone's a pretty good balanced car to use, and a little bit better than Super Tsunami in my opinion. And starting in A tier, we have the MST Suzuka. Now, the MST Suzuka is a pretty good A-tier vehicle. She has pretty good speed, her acceleration is mid, same with her handling, and also her charge is pretty good too. So overall, MST Suzuka is a pretty good A-tier vehicle to use. And moving up in A-tier is the Spectate. Like the Fulminator and Off-Track, Spectate shares some similarities with the MST Suzuka. He shares the same speed and acceleration stat as the MST Suzuka, but has more handling, but he doesn't have pretty good charge, making it difficult to supercharge items. But despite his flaws, he's a pretty good starter car to use, and probably one of the best in my opinion. And moving up in A tier is the Cove Light. Cove Light as a starter car is a fantastic. She has pretty good speed and acceleration, but her handling and charge leave a lot to be desired. But overall, she's a pretty good starter car to use, because she has pretty good speed and acceleration to back her up. Next up in A tier is the So Fast. Like Spectate, the MST Suzuka, Fulminator, and Off-Track, So Fast is kind of like a twin version of Cove Light. He shares the same speed and acceleration stat as Cove Light, he has pretty better charge, but he has horrible handling. But despite his flaws, he's a pretty good starter car to use. Next up in the A tier line is the Demon. For starters, Demon looks fantastic, and also his stats are pretty good too. He has pretty high speed, his acceleration and handling are balanced, and also has pretty good charge. So yeah, Demon is pretty fast, probably a cool starter car to use for the attic. Joining in the A tier is the Phantom Racer. Looking at the Phantom Racer, she's fantastic. Her speed and acceleration is pretty high, and her handling and charge is pretty mid. Overall, she's better than the Demon, and probably a cool starter, a pretty cool unlockable car to use. Moving up in the ranks is the 16 Angels. Next up, 16 Angels is a pretty good car to use. He has pretty good speed, acceleration, and handling, but his charge leaves a lot to be desired. But despite his charge flaw, he's a pretty good unlockable car to use as well. Way better than Phantom Racer. Next up is the Bone Shaker. So looking at Bone Shaker, he looks like an upgraded version of the Demon. He has +2 in speed and charge, and +2 in acceleration and handling. So overall, Bone Shaker is an upgraded version of Demon, and a little bit better than him. And the last one in A tier is the Nitro Door Slammer. Now, Nitro Door Slammer is way better than all the other A tier cars we discussed. He has pretty balanced speed and charge, and pretty good acceleration and handling. And despite his wheelie bar being a bit of a nuisance sometimes, he's a pretty good starter car to use, and a perfect car to end off the A tier. And we finally make it to the S tier cars, and first up is Battle Spec. Battle Spec on paper is fantastic. He has pretty fantastic speed and acceleration, and pretty good handling and charge as well. So overall, he's a pretty good car, and probably one of the best vehicles to use for some people. Just passing Battle Spec is Dakar. Now, Dakar, on the other hand, is a little bit better than Battle Spec. For one, he is pretty balanced in speed, acceleration, handling, and charge, making him one of the more balanced cars more than any other car, more like Rapid Transit or Drift King or anyone else. But other than that, Dakar is a pretty good balanced car to use, and probably one of the best cars to use for some people like the Battle Spec. Just moving past Dakar is the Diesel Boy. Now, Diesel Boy is a little bit better than Dakar. He has pretty high speed and acceleration, pretty decent handling, and maxed out charge, making this the first car to have a maxed out stat. And really cool to use too. And moving just past Diesel Boy is my favorite Hot Wheels car of all time, the Hollaback. Good old Hollaback. Not only is he my favorite Hot Wheels model to play as, he's also pretty good in this game. He's a little bit better than Diesel Boy in my opinion. He shares the same speed and acceleration stat as Diesel Boy, but he has better handling and slightly less charge. So overall, I think Hollowback's a little bit better than Diesel Boy. And if you like Hollowback, I recommend you give him a try. But unfortunately, just sneaking past Hollowback is the Spinebuster. Now, Spinebuster on paper is really good. She has pretty high speed and acceleration and pretty good charge, and she also has maxed out handling, which is pretty good because the handling in Hot Wheels Beat that's not the greatest. So yeah, she's a pretty good card to use for good handling. So yeah, if you're someone who really likes good handling, maybe give Spinebuster a try. You really like her. Just sneaking by her though is the Power Bomb. Now, Power Bomb is fantastic. She has maxed out handling and charge, and pretty good speed and acceleration. So overall, Power Bomb is a fantastic unlockable card to use, which is pretty cool. And to surprise the many, we have a tie between Speed Bump and Shadow Armor 2 for being the best cards to use in Hot Wheels Beat That. Now, Speed Bump on first is really fantastic. He has maxed out stats on everything in speed, acceleration, handling, and charge. And guess who has the same stats as Speed Bump? That's right, it's the Shadow Armor 2, but Shadow Armor 2 is a secret card, while Speed Bump is a normal unlockable character. And they both share the same stats, but I think Speed Bump is a little bit better than Shadow Armor 2 in my opinion, so that's pretty cool. So there you go, the Hot Wheels Beat That ranking. So thank you all so much for watching, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and maybe next episode I might be able to rank all the tracks in Hot Wheels Beat That, so stick around for that. This is Michael Puglisi, signing off.